Hey, what is up everyone? DiscussionVerse here to go over the Masters of Parody making a massive comeback to the franchise that they built from the ground up with Scary Movie. That's right, the Wayans brothers are back and Scary Movie 6 is officially happening, so lock it in for June 12, 2026, as it's going to be really stupid in the best way possible. Though before I get into that, this is your friendly reminder to make sure you are smashing that like button, leave a comment down below, and if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, then turn on that notification bell so you never miss a new video. With that out of the way, let's get right into this. So before we get into what this revival could bring, let's roll it back just for a second, because Scary Movie 1 and 2, they're absolute game changers. These weren't just funny movies, they actually redefined parody. They essentially took a genre already being self-aware and used movies like Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer and said, okay, but what if we make it unhinged, completely off the wall, and still smarter than people give it credit for? And honestly, they actually pulled that off. Because let's be real, Scary Movie arguably did Scream better than Scream did itself. Not only did we get Bobby and Ray as the killers, but then they hit us with the second twist that there's another murder still out there. You weren't ready for that. Nobody was. That's a parody that has layers, like a dumb, ridiculous onion. And yeah, it had fart jokes, weed jokes, sex jokes. It was chaotic. But underneath all of that, the Wayans had a blueprint. They understood horror. They know how to play with tension, misdirection, and all of that while making you laugh so hard that you miss half the lines. That's not really easy to do, and it's pretty impressive how many dumb but also smart and funny jokes that they were able to weave into the first Scary Movie. And then after that came Scary Movie 2, which was somehow more unhinged but just equally as funny, as you had Hanson the Butler with the tiny hand, you had the Exorcist intro parody, you had a lot of other parodies going on that were not necessarily horror but were weaved in a way that really made you laugh out loud in this movie. Even though it was absolutely absurd, it still had the same sharp edge that Scary Movie had. And it's no secret just how iconic Scary Movie 1 and 2 were, in the sense of being not only a parody but a horror parody and creating that genre of itself. So it was really apparent when the Wayans brothers did eventually step off from the Scary Movie franchise, and I use that term lightly because here's something that a lot of people don't really, or might have just forgotten for some reason. But after the success of Scary Movie 1 and 2, the Wayans brothers didn't just walk away from the franchise. The franchise was straight up taken from them, as the rights to Scary Movie were owned by the Weinstein Company and Harvey Weinstein. So after the success of the first two films, the Wayans were essentially just pushed out all the way through. According to interviews that Marlon has done over the years, they didn't want to stop. They were actually planning a full-on trilogy, but behind the scenes wanted more control, and once the first two films proved to be that big of a hit, they instantly saw dollar signs and decided to cut the original creators out. Marlon has said in an interview that they were ghosted, like meetings had just stopped, calls weren't returned, and then boom, Scary Movie 3 had dropped, without the Wayans having been attached at all. So imagine that you created something that iconic, and then watching it get handed off like a group project that you ended up getting kicked out of. And we're talking about Harvey Weinstein, the same piece that is now rotting in prison for a long list of reasons, and whose company was infamous for doing shady Hollywood moves like this. So it's not just that they were cut out of it, it's how it was done, in being so quiet, cold, and just corporate all the way. So now with Scary Movie 6, this is more than just a funny reunion. It's actually a vindication for the Wayans brothers, as they finally now have control over the thing that they created. And look, I'm not saying that Scary Movie 3 was not funny or anything like that, because I thought it was pretty damn hilarious. It is definitely one of my favorite Scary Movies of the whole franchise itself. I would rank it just as they came out, with 1, 2, and 3 as the tiers for my personal list. I just think that it's about time that the Wayans brothers have control over the franchise. They were able to build up and able to make such a huge hit, and I think that the timing couldn't be better. Horror has been on a wild upscale and run in the last decade. The amount of material here to play with, it's just insanely ridiculous. I mean, just off the top of my head, we're talking Megan, we're talking Smile, we're talking Talk to Me, The Black Phone, It Follows, Hereditary, The Nun, Nosferatu, It. I mean, everything that has been coming out in the past decades for modern horror and that has elevated horror itself is all on the table here and all able to be parodied if they choose to do so. It's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out, but I for one am so damn excited. I really do feel like this isn't just an easy cash grab for the Wayans brothers. This is more about them reclaiming a genre that they helped create, as the Wayans didn't just spoof horror, they understood it. They studied played it. They even knew when to exaggerate and when to hold back, when to go dumb, and when to get just truly clever. They weren't just making fun of horror, they were speaking its language, just with a megaphone and a whoopee cushion, if you will. This right here, this feels like a big full circle moment. A Scary Movie was more than a hit. It defined an era of comedy, and seeing the Wayans finally take it back, that's something fans have been waiting for over 2 decades. If they bring even half the original energy to Scary Movie 6, we're not just getting a solid sequel, we might be witnessing the rebirth of parody cinema. As for any plot details, there's really nothing right now, especially with the announcement being just so recent, though we do know that the fans would love to have Anna Faris come back as Cindy Campbell and also Regina Hall come back as Brenda, respectively. And it would also be cool to see Marlon and Sean come back as Ray and Shorty. Though yeah, as of early 2025 and right now, what we do know is this: Ghostface is coming back. The franchise's favorite masked menace, while the spoofed version is making a return, and this actually comes straight from Dave Sheridan, aka Officer Doofy himself, in a conversation with fellow YouTuber CrazyDog500. He said, quote, "The only thing I can 100% tell you is that Ghostface will return for Scary Movie 6. Marlon already confirmed that by taking a photo with a Ghostface, and that is not me in that photo. From what I know of the original script, it did fall in line with what Scary Movie did, with really following the story of the Scream franchise. So this would be like Scream 5 or 6. Currently, that's the only information that we have, and it could definitely be reworked. But basically, this would just be confirmation that we're not getting only a nostalgic nod, but we're getting a full-on parody arc that mirrors the newer Scream reboot. You know, all of that legacy character meta horror reboot within a reboot type energy. If anyone can rip that to shreds and make it hilarious, it's gonna be the Wayans brothers, with all three returning in Keenan, Sean, and Marlon. So also, side note, if Doofy's not in the Ghostface costume this time, then who is? So with that said, that is gonna wrap up this video. Hit those comments, let the wild theories fly, and drop your picks for which horror movies or moments need to get spoofed. Till next time, I'll catch you mother lovers later. Peace.